Welcome to the Equity Team Podcast, where we provide Sedona, Arizona real estate insight to help you thrive during your next real estate transaction.
Hello, I'm Chad McMahon with the Equity Team, and I'm going to go ahead and break into a $1 million deal analysis for a short-term rental in Sedona, Arizona. So first thing I'm going to do here, just sharing my screen. Now, this is a property that checks a lot of boxes, so the revenue would be strong. It's a property that is in the heart of Sedona. So within my cursor here, you can see kind of the breakdown of the Sedona area. So Sedona proper, meaning within the Sedona city limits, is this area. It's kind of a smaller area here. However, the locals, the tourists, the MLS, the post office, all consider Sedona to be this larger area here. That includes Village of Oak Creek, also includes Oak Creek Canyon, and then some of this area down here in Lower Red Rock Loop Road area that's further down in this section. So this area, it's kind of right smack dab in the middle. And in terms of drive times, this is important to know for short-term rentals because this is how you would market, the convenience of the location. So it's within 2 to 5 minutes of several pretty significant hiking trails and biking trails. This is a really premium area for these trails. A lot of the old Broken Arrow, Western movies and things like that took place actually right out here. It's a beautiful spot. It is about, it's within 5 minutes drive, not walk, but within 5 minutes drive of great restaurants that are right along this section right here. And as far as shopping goes, it's within 5 minutes of Tlaquepaque shopping in this area. It's within 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon traffic, of the Uptown Sedona shopping area, and it's within 10 minutes of kind of this, at least the edge of this West Sedona area as well. So it's a good little spot. Sometimes it can get a bit trafficky, not an official term, but there can be quite a bit of traffic that can be here sometimes. So it can slow you down when you're getting into the main Sedona proper restaurants and shopping area. But typically it is going to be, again, within about 5 to 10 minutes, we'll get you up here. Sometimes it can be 20 minutes if it's backed up. So that being said, this property, it's a 3-bed, 4-bath, 2,300 square foot home. And I'm going to just dive in here. Now, the things that I like about this property, one is that it has a pool, which is not common. The bedrock out here, the rock, the ground is pretty hard. So a lot of people don't dig pools. Plus, compared to a place like Phoenix that's warm almost throughout the entire year, even the winter doesn't get that cold in Phoenix. So you see a lot of pools and people expect them up there. There aren't as many out here. So when you do have a property like this, even though the pool is small, it has a pool, and that is a big selling point. You don't need to have a pool to have a successful short-term rental, but it absolutely helps with your occupancy rate and it helps with your ADR, and it gives you a bump for sure. So this property is charming. One thing that I look at, and this is more important than a pool, it's more important than anything else, is the property going to market in the top 10 or 20% of other properties that are competing against it on Airbnb and VRBO and things like that? This property it would market well. It's charming. It looks nice. It looks kind of fun. It has some personality, and it doesn't need much in terms of further improvements to kind of get it to the finish line and max out the income. There are a few things I would do to this property, and I'll point them out here. But I like this property. I like the look of the property. I like the feel of the property. And it's the kind of place that people would retreat to. They would get away from things and they would stay here and feel pampered. So again, this is a small pool, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be a big pool. Fact of the matter is that it's a pool. It also has a hot tub, and it's a small hot tub, but again, that's okay. This works really, really well for a 3-bedroom, even a 4-bedroom. This would work fine. This is, of course, a 3-bedroom home. But if there's ever anything that you did to bump it up to a 4-bedroom, for example, these amenities and the space would support that. Now, one of the things I would do that's essentially free is I would get rid of some clutter that's in the backyard. And I would also add a little bit of, these are either free or cheap things to do. I would add a little bit more gravel to the landscaping in the property. Another thing I would love to see in this property is there's some of this older brickwork inside and a little bit outside. And I would love to see that brickwork stained with a little bit of red color, just kind of bring out a little bit of the red. And then, see, here's some of that brickwork I'm talking about. So if this had a little bit more contrast by adding a little bit of a red, it's not paint, you don't want to paint it. But if you stained it and brought out a little bit of red color or some other color, then that would help this pop quite a bit. Now, the flooring is nice. It's it's pretty dated feeling, but it's a nice wood floor. So I'd probably leave that. There are rooms with carpet. And in a perfect world, if it's within your budget, and we've got great contractors that can do this economically, and they do great work, but a nice vinyl plank would go a long way where you have carpet. You can see there's been some updating in here, so this doesn't feel dated, it feels fairly modern. Here's some of the carpet. Looks a bit lumpy, possibly. It's hard to tell. It may not be lumpy. It may just be from the contours at the bottom of the furniture. But yeah, in a perfect world, you swap this out, you put in a nice vinyl plank, something, pretty modern and something that is easy to get more of, so that, if you do decide down the road that you want to swap out some of the tile or something like that with vinyl plank, then it's easy to find more of the same vinyl plank. You don't have to pre-buy it or anything like that, but just something that's, easier to get your hands on, and you can ask your contractors about that or your subcontractors about that. Again, with any of these things, we have several teams of really great general contractors that are loaded with very competent, very experienced subs, and they get this stuff done for us pretty quickly and fairly easily. The things that I'm mentioning here, you don't need permits for, but you want to be careful that when you're getting work done, you always check with your contractors. Always ask them. Never assume that they'll get it permitted if it's supposed to be permitted. They're almost always just going to follow your direction. And if you say, hey, can you put in ceiling fans and move this wall here and change the plumbing from here to here and stuff like that, a lot of times they're just going to do it for you and they're not going to file for permits. So always ask them if the work that you're asking them to do needs to be permitted. And if it does, you should get permits. Not only will it save you a lot of heartache later, as far as if the city or if the county approaches you and says, what's going on here, then it's actually more expensive to get the permits, later on. But the other thing is, one day you're going to sell the property that you buy. And when you do, it's a lot easier to sell it if everything is permitted and ready to rock and roll. So you can see this place is not perfect. There's no place that is perfect. But, this place, it's a great price based on what you get. And again, it's something that would market well. And so because of that, it would pop. Now, quick numbers on this one. This property, as a 3-bed, 4-bath, 2,300 square foot. Oh, and it has a 2-car garage, by the way. But the way that it is right now, with maybe just a itty bitty little, updating budget, maybe like repair and replace and things, like, let's say you put in $10,000. Okay. And that's all you do to this property. It's going to easily break $150,000 gross annual income based on what I'm seeing. I would say you're probably around 150 to 165 in your gross annual income. Now, this is assuming a lot of factors. If you do your own thing on this, obviously I would be less confident of your results. But if you use our system, if you use our go-to short-term rental property manager, who typically has very high occupancy rate, which is going to make all the difference, then you're going to be in good shape. Now, if you were to put in, let's say, $40,000 to $50,000, which still isn't a lot for this property, that would include flooring. That would include a lot of things, actually. and you put in, let's say, again, $50,000 into this property, it's going to be a lot more, conservative at that 150, 165. I think you're going to be more like 165 to about 190, and it might be better. Yeah, try to give conservative ranges. So that's going to be your gross annual income approximately if you go that route. It's well worth the money. It's also going to be, you make those improvements, it's going to be, again, much more desirable when you go to sell. It's going to market a lot better, all around. First impressions will be better. Your guests will be happier. You'll see more 5-star reviews, things like that. So it all comes into play. So I hope this has been helpful. Reach out anytime. If we can do anything for you, even just to answer questions, we're happy to do so. And we look forward to connecting with you. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the Equity Team Podcast. To speak with one of our top agents, visit us at owninaz.com. That's OWNINAZ.com. Or call us at 928-323-0031.